Hello, internets. This is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Belshire Vestige with another Shoutcast commentary sort of thing with my partner in crime, Nav. How you doing over there, buddy?
Crooked and a little to the left.
That's always A-okay. The players today are going to be Predator, spawning as the red Terran. His opponent is going to be Algar. The blue Zerg, so a PVZ. No, scratch that. It's going to be a TVZ. Since you are all things expert of Terran, what do you expect out of these two players?
Units and structures.
Very well. Very good. The good old units and structures coming out of these guys. I think Predator is the diamond level player. Algar is the masters. So, you know, expect some high level play. Hopefully, we see drop, we see bailing busts, we see every sort of unit manageable. And I think we casted a game earlier, a TVZ, where every single unit was used except battle cruisers and broodlords, if I do like the last TVZ that we casted.
Ooh, I'm really trying to remember here. You may be right. You may be right. I can't quite remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens. You do have that little, you know, plate in your head that interferes with the memory aspects of your mind, but that's A-okay. I don't really see any kind of crazy shenanigans going out of these blue players. Both of these guys are just scouting out. Actually, Predator hasn't even moved out of his base just yet. He's still just building blind. Really not really building blind, but just not really deciding to scout. That's a little bit of an interesting conundrum, but not really, since Terran is pretty much the unit, the race that's weakest when it comes to scouting, depending on because of the way that they build.
Yeah, that's very true, and I myself recently have delayed my scouting to a little bit later on, which allows you to hit certain timings a little bit better, I've noticed.
So there you go. And interesting, out of Predator, he went command center first into barracks. So both of these players' expansions are going to be lining up quite nicely. Spawning pool already down for Algar, but no gas. So I expect obviously it's going to be a very interesting macro game out of both of these guys, and especially on this map with this sort of very huge avenues of attack. Drops are going to be the cornerstone of Predator's play in I would say in about 10 minutes or so.
Yep, interesting fact here, though. Algar has decided for the ballsiest expansion I've ever seen in our Red Terran players natural.
That is true. I mean, the only way this expansion could be ballsier is if it was in Predator's own base. And what's funny is Predator has no idea. He still hasn't moved down his ramp, so he has no idea that that expansion is there. Oh,
I'd really like to see it right in front of the ramp ball, come at me, bro style.
Yeah. Oh, and what's coming down the field? Zerglings with a couple of drones. So is this going to be a spine crawler contained? Oh, this is going to be very interesting. I love this. I love this.
Yep. Ideally, if he was going for some kind of tank play, that would completely hard counter this. But sadly, there's no factory to be seen.
Well, there it just goes down as soon as you spoke it. Double extractor coming out of Predator. Oh man, this is gonna totally throw Predator's command center first opening out of the loop. He still has no idea that's there. He's been building blind obviously for the past 5 minutes, even though he's way past the time for initial expand. The hatchery is done. Zergling's gonna go ahead and jump up into the front, poke around, see what's going on. Algar has to be grinning at this point. He just has to.
Yeah, but I was just looking at the vision of red here. He still can't see it. That creep isn't quite far enough up. These spine crawlers are almost done. He has got a tech lap down, and it's not gonna be hard for him at all to get 1 or 2 tanks out and just bombard them from here, especially with that reactor barracks double pumping out those Marines. Those tanks are going to have some good bolstering support if he keeps double pumping them out like that.
Now my question here is, if the Queen puts down a single creep tremor at the edge of this creep, like he's doing just now, moves these spine crawlers up and up to the edges, to the right edges of his of that base, will he be able to pummel these barracks from the bottom, from the ground, especially if he moves an overlord up for vision?
If he moves an overload up for vision, I believe so.
And oh man, that would actually be great. A double evo chamber. That's interesting though.
I mean, those spines, they've got They've got double, or excuse me, double. They've got 7 range. So yeah, that get an overload over there, and they should be able to pick at the top here. I believe. I haven't ever seen spine crawlers on being on low ground hitting something on the high ground in an offensive way like we see here. This isn't something I've seen a lot, and this has never happened to me personally.
Yeah, well, like you were saying, siege tanks, they're there. They're going to start pummeling away at these spine crawlers. This is going to go down, I would say, in the next minute or so. But even so, the damage is done. To catch this creep tumor here, a scan is going to be required, even to bring this down. And then there's another creep tumor being put down as well. Spine crawlers are going to be putting around at the edges. It's still going to be pummeled by that siege tank. They actually used a larva inject on these. I'd actually like to see something happen out of these larvae, but not yet. Spine crawlers decided not to root down. There it goes. It's finally going to start nibbling away. Might get a marine kill. Gets a marine kill before it goes down. But like I was saying before, these creep tumors are there. It's going to require a scan, which is obviously gonna take precedence over a mule. What do you think? I mean, we're not going to see any units lost, but resources lost actually. Do you think this is worth it? I mean, 300 for the hatchery. You know what, 200 for those spine crawlers. What's the Evo chamber? 150, another 300, so almost 800, 900 minerals by Algar. Do you think it was worth it, especially to delay that expansion?
Honestly, I really don't, and just the reason for that is that right now he's got 3 siege tanks out and a decent number of Marines, 12 right now. Easily could maybe pump out a few more rungs, get that number up a little bit higher, and go out and push on them. However, I did notice that combat shield is just now underway. Stim did already finish. What I'd really like to have seen from a Terran player now is clear out this creep and go push, because when would a Zerg be weaker than after losing all that stuff? And with combat shields, giving those Marines more HP to better buffer for the tanks is a more invaluable tool, at least for this point in the game, than Stim Pack, because you're making your Marines weaker for the addition of a little bit more DPS.
So
even though your army already has a distinct advantage from if you set your tanks up right, banglings aren't going to be able to do anything. The splash is going to be able to really help those Marines kill those Zerglings, because they're already going to be coated with splash damage if they're not the ones initially targeted.
Yeah, and what you were talking about the Zerg player being very weak is very true. I mean, metabolic boost, so speedlings isn't even done yet. They will be done in about 20-30 seconds, but if he would have counter pushed right now, he might have caught a few units here and there, but Algar just spawned, it looked like 40 Zerglings there. And it looks like it's going to be a massive Baneling bust, because the Baneling nest is finally finished up. He does have quite a bit of a bank there, about 200 minerals. That's what, 8 Banelings there. Double Evo chamber finally going to be up. Metabolic boost finished. And like you were saying, yeah, the Zerg player, Algar was very weak. All he has right now is Zerglings. They're definitely going to be able to overwhelm the Terran force that was at the beginning, right after he took down that hatchery, but not now. He's got another siege tank there, Marines with medevac support, and here come the drops. He's already loading up those medevacs with the Marines. This drop could actually do some damage. There's no static defenses aside from that. Well, not really a static defense of a queen, but there's really no defenses other than the speedlings and the queens.
It is so frustrating. Look at that creep, still whittling away. Still there, still
there.
The commander's just now able to land, even being hindered a few seconds by his own SCVs.
Nice. So yeah, this could actually spell a little bit of a trouble. These speedlings are gonna just run past these siege tanks, and it looks like Algar is just scouting, seeing exactly what's there, and he sees no Marines. I would get antsy, because where are the Marines? Oh, they are in your main base. This is actually going to cause quite a bit of damage. Now it's decision time for Algar. Come back and defend, or just push forward with his Zerglings.
Yeah, but it's going to be a tough one, because those 4 siege tanks are in a great position, even have some Marines there, so that's still in a tough position to attack into, because right now those siege tanks will one-shot the Zerglings until they get that level 1 carapace up.
Wow, and look at that, 24 more Zerglings in production, and it looks like Algar decides to push forward, finally gets into that siege line, takes care of 2, 3, 4. Here comes that 5th siege tank, finally manages to bring it down, but at the same time his main base is down. No more spawning pools, so no more Zergling production, will make that Baneling list just absolutely worthless. The Zerglings are going to finally nibble away at these SCVs. Command Center just floating out, checking out what's going on, but at the same time Marines are going to go ahead and clear out Algar's main base, so it's going to be Zerglings versus Marines, and with a little bit of micro, especially on the ramp, those Zerglings aren't going to do much damage at all. Looks like the Zerglings drones are pulled off. A nice little surround finally gonna happen. They're gonna pick away at something in the back. Those Marines are finally gonna start being nibbled away. The Zerglings are done, but the ones in the natural expansion are just having their way with the supply depots. And the Marines are still alive, surprisingly, but here come 34 more Zerglings. It looks like he rebuilt that spawning pool just in the nick of time. You're going to go ahead and focus down the Overlords, 5 Marines, 6, 7, 8 Marines, but at the same time, those Zerglings are finally going to be chased away by another squad of Marines just built to reinforce Predator's expansion. Action all around the base.
Yep, and that Baneling's nest is in danger of going down here. That would be something invaluable to destroy, and he does get it. Yeah, so right now, all he has is Zerglings.
Zerglings, but interesting enough, he manages to put down a third hatchery, or actually the fourth, at the, I would say the 2 o'clock position, 3 o'clock position. So Lair is done in that natural expansion, so good. At least he didn't lose the Lair tech that would have happened if he used it for his main base. And retaking his main base, definitely a good idea. There's still plenty of minerals, still plenty of gas there. Predator takes his third, so crazy damage being done on both sides of the map. I just think Algar was just a little bit too slow on the uptake, especially when that drop happened. There was a good 20-30 seconds that nothing happened. He didn't pull back his Zerglings, he didn't push forward. If he would have been able to just immediately respond with one way or another, I definitely would have said he would have been in the lead, but right now the food count definitely favors Predator. Units lost, I would say around the same units lost where you expect to see in a TVZ. Resources definitely favor Algar, and workers killed definitely favor Predator with those 20 drones killed on that attack on the natural expansion. So all in all, I would say Predator is in the lead, just by a scotch. Just by a scotch.
Yep, and they're essentially about even right now. Pretty much 2 fully saturated bases up and running. Red, our Terran player here, Predator is getting his 3rd base down, so he essentially is on 3 fully mining bases, whereas the Zerg player is only on 2. In fact, one of which he has 1 worker mine missing from his geyser, and the other geyser isn't even taken. So right now, our Terran player, in my opinion, at least economically, is ahead, or he's going to be very soon.
Very much so. And right now, it looks like Algar just throwing Zerglings away. Not really that big of a deal. Pretty much just scouting, seeing exactly what's going on. Here comes another job. These medevacs are going to go straight for that 3rd, aka 4th base, or 4th, aka 3rd. Pick one, internet guys. I don't care either way which one you guys decide on, but here comes the drop. Marines are going to unload very, very quickly. This queen is going to be taken down, and these attacks would be very different if that Baneling's nest wasn't taken down earlier in that attack. A little bit of a counter swing happening in the 3rd base of Predator. It looks like the Zerglings are going to try to surround that siege tank. They had a little bit of an indecision on about whether to attack the bunker or the siege tank. Marines are going to mop up the rest of that, while at the same time the Marines at the 3 o'clock position take down Algar's 4th base. So again, both players are doing damage to each other's bases, each other's economy. Neither come out ahead, really. And looking at the tech, we see an infestation pit going down for Algar. Baneling's finally on the field of play. And what can we see from Predator? Really just a standard bio ball with some siege tank backup. Nothing too crazy going on there.
Yeah, pretty much the Terran's bread and butter here. Our Zerg player is just about now on even upgrades with our Terran player. Well, ooh, nice Baneling hits right there.
Yep.
Completely mop up that force. Does save the medvacs though, so no real loss because of them that being just pure Marines and our Terran player having such a large mineral bank.
Yeah, very much at 2,000. And oh, if these Zerglings catch these SCVs, they decide to pull back at the last second. Oh, that SCV line crew was just in huge danger from those Zerglings. But Predator getting a little bit of a little bit greedy here. I mean, he's double expanding at the 4th and 5th possible bases, but with that mineral bank, you're why not? I mean, he has minerals to spare. Look at his income. He does have 74 harvesters compared to the 50 of Algar. Wow, that's surprising to me to see in a TVZ. Even though there were 31 workers now killed by Predator.
Yep, and if you look at it, centrifugal hooks are a little more than halfway done here. In fact, well, yeah, I'd say they're actually almost completely finished up. It's going to help our Banelings here get more kills, but the creep threat isn't really that good. So unless it's using them defensively, that really isn't going to help all that much. I really like to see more of a play into higher tech here, because eventually at a point those Banelings aren't going to be aren't gonna get used once he gets higher up towards, say, Ultralisks, Broodlords. I don't see those banelings being used
very
too
much.
much.
And with the hive tech underway, those Ultralists more than likely going to be happening pretty soon. Here come the banelings. There are plenty of banelings that are just going to rip through that bunker. They're going to go into those SCVs. Huge detonations, cleared up everything at that third base. That command center goes down, and with the delay of that fifth and that fourth being delayed just a little bit as well, that's a huge for Algar, especially catching up with the workers kill count. Now it's 42-31. And those Zerglings are still there. They're going to swing in directly into the natural expansion, decide to bypass that siege tank with just a little bit of a mistake, in my opinion. All those Zerglings finally get cleaned up. And the final volley takes care of the last two. And wow, that's exactly what Algar needed. That is exactly what he needed to do to bring himself pretty much on equal footing, and if not, pretty much jump him into the lead. That was huge.
That was definitely an effective hit, but like I was mentioning previously, look at the Terran player's money compared to our Zerg player. He is 1,500 gas to the Zerg player's 160, 1,200 minerals to 2,500.
Yeah, that is very true, but like I said, he's clawing, he's scratching his way back just a little bit. His Marines are just trying to do the best splits that they can, but without any medevac backup, without any stim, it's slightly underwhelming. Finally, it gets caught up. One siege tank actually managed to get down, so a nice little trade back and forth. But like you were saying, that mineral count is extremely high, so trading back and forth like this, not really the best in Algar's favor. But he really doesn't know how much behind he is on that bank of resources. 40 more Zerglings in production, and 9 Banelings being morphed in. Hatchery being taken, so it looks like Algar is just, I think he might be just buying for time here, trying to get his economy back up and running, because the harvester count now favors Algar just a little bit. And finally, look at that, in production 11 Marines. Obviously, Marine count is being ratcheted up. Look at the resource count now. Wow, what a difference a minute can make.
That again, I'd really like to see him take his gases and his what used to be his main base, take this second gas as natural, and take his second gas in his third base. Right now, he should have been on 6 gases for quite a while, but instead he's really only on two gases. Really, I mean that's where it's at. He's doing a lot of Zergling harassment, which is great, but it's really not all that difficult to throw Zerglings at a random location while building.
Right. No, I mean, and definitely true. But on the other hand, he does still have plenty of gas to be able to mine at a later stage if it does go for another 10-15 minutes. If he starts taking these gases now, he'll have enough of a bank to be able to start churning out those Ultralists, which will just decimate this army. I mean, they'll be able to tank that siege tank fire. They'll be able to just rip through Marines. But right now, he's still continuing that Zergling production, 30 Zerglings. I think he feels like this is going to be a killing blow if he just keeps throwing those Zerglings away at his opponent.
Maybe he's definitely trying to be aggressive here, and this is my favorite kind of Zerg, the Zerg that feels like they have to be aggressive. And that's generally when, at least where I've seen mistakes have been made. Not to say that I haven't made mistakes of my own, but I've generally found, at least in most situations, that attacking Zerg can actually be a detrimental to the game too, to all things depending. We'll have to see here, but honestly, I have no idea where this game is going. Because like you said, this constant Zergling harass is causing Predator to constantly have to defend, and then he's trying counterattacks. With this army, and just the main army just
like you were saying, attacking the Zerg really didn't work out in Predator's favor there. Everything was destroyed, everything was mopped up. Now Algar pretty much has his game in hand, in my opinion. He's the constant harassment, the constant just huge Baneling detonations. I mean, he's had 3, 4, I think even 5 solid detonation hits that took out a huge chunk of Predator's army. And now, I mean, 31 workers killed, 63 SCV kills by Algar. Wow. That's a lot of minerals lost.
Yeah. Wow, indeed. 7 OP meals going down, with 3 more just now joining them. So on that third base, he has 10 meals on there right now.
Looking at the income tab, yep, it pretty much... The harvester, I mean, it looks like Algar, like I was saying, he was just stalling for time there with that constant aggression, with the Zerglings, with the Banelings. They're cheap units, they're easy to make, they're quick to make, they're very fast, and now I think he's finally got his economy up where he wants to be. I mean, he has around 50 harvesters there spread out across the entire map, but really, given how much mining minerals he has, he could actually, that's actually enough drones for what he has going for him. Another little bit of a Zergling surround, the medevacs to pick up the Marines and Medevacs are just going to go ahead and go home somewhere else. Another huge attack at this planetary fortress. Siege tank does go down, and this planetary fortress already has 59 kills to its name. It looks like it might finally get taken down, but at the same time, a drop at this 6th, 7th, who knows how many bases. This hatchery will go down as well. The planetary fortress stands tall with its 79 kills. Queen decides to sack itself for no apparent reason, and here come the mules to start mining, and it looks like the marine drop that took out that base finally gets cleaned up, but now actually pushing forward to the 4th base of Algar, and it looks like Predator might actually take this. He's swinging all the advantage in his favor. Siege tank isn't sieged up, going to be taken care of by these Zerglings. Marines are there. Both players on both sides of the map doing the best to just damage control. If Algar is able to hold this off quite well, these Zerglings are not where they need to be, attacking a single Marine. Finally, the Marines are going to go ahead and back themselves up into a corner. At the same time, the Marines are still hanging tall. There, they do manage to go down. And Predator might actually have clawed his way back into this game since the food count is 167 to 79. Looks like Algar knows his feels, decides to just counter swing with these Zerglings. I don't think this is the best. I mean, this is actually probably the only choice he really has into just throwing himself into a base trade kind of situation.
Yep, and take a look in Predator's base here. He has these siege tanks trapped here. He really needs to lift his main, get those 5 siege tanks stuck from out under those buildings, and he can just push in and possibly win. I don't want to say win just because of how back and forth this game has been, but those 5 stuck siege tanks would be a huge impact.
And
on this
looks
game
like Predator needs to go back and play some Sim City to figure out exactly what's going on there. I mean, not to say that I haven't done this myself, but yeah, I mean,
yep.
He is. I think didn't we say that he is the Masters level player?
I believe he used. I believe he says he's the diamond
so
player.
Going up against a master level player, very good play actually out of him. And look at the food count, 187 to 70. Algar just doesn't know what to do. I mean, he doesn't even have any mining bases. He just has one on the far right. He's got here and there. And Algar should have just. You were right. I mean, he should have taken this. Vespin Geysers still full at his natural expansion. He never retook those main Vespin Geysers, and I think he just overcommitted a little bit too much on that aggression. He could have stopped at a couple of waves of Zerglings and just built up his tech into Ultralisk. Maybe even Infestors would have been great.
Yeah, essentially we saw a can't out Zerg as a Terran. Well, I guess he was going for the swarm approach, which in this case was a ton of Zerglings and Banelings, which we did definitely see. But you know, again though, a good Zerg player is going to be constantly thinking 2 steps ahead. This is what he has. This is what I have. This is where I want to be.
And Ultralisk would have been perfect. All he had was siege tanks and Marines. That would have been great, especially with some Zergling backup. But it never got to that point since he just didn't have the gas. 1, because he was using on all those Banelings, and 2, he just wasn't taking the assimilators necessary to be able to just churn out that Vespin gas. But good game overall. Had some great action. Drops here, drops there. Attacks left, attacks right, battles down the middle. I hope you guys enjoyed this cast. If not, leave comments down below on what Nav could do to make them better, since I know I'm already at the top of everything, really. If you guys want us to cast one of your own replays, feel free to upload them to one of the major replay sites. Drop.se is popular. GG Tracker is getting up there in skill level as well. I believe right now it's at a high platinum. It might get into diamond this season. That's it for me. Do you have any parting words of wisdom, Nav?
Don't do drugs, kids.
Awesome.
Don't do drugs,
That is
kids.
it. We are out of here.
Word to my gooch boots. Word to my gooch boots.
What?